Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Nilambujasyamalakomalangam Sita Samaropitavamabhagam Panau Mahashayaka Charu Chapam Namami Ramam Raghuvanshanatham. This is a verse from Ayodhya Kand, adorations to Lord Rama, whose complexion is like a blue lotus, who is very tender and delightful in appearance. Sita is seated on his left side and he is carrying a powerful bow and arrow in his hands. Detailed meanings I have given you before, so we continue in Balakanda, verse number 12. This is the introductory writing of Saint Tulsidas. He introduces his composition, and that introduction itself has profound insight, profound feeling. Na sarad sesa mahesa vidhi agam nigam puran neti neti kahi jasu gun karahi nirantar gan. Tulsidas is saying that I am going to compose the Ramayana that presents the glory of Rama. But this task I have taken has been well accomplished by great personalities of the past. So it is not something new. No one is ever a new sage. Every sage has had a sage before. The enlightened sages, they are as beginningless as the world is. Now, what the verse says, Sarad says Mahesh Vidhi, Goddess Saraswati, the great serpent Shesha, Sheshanag, on whose hoods the whole universe is presented as resting on his hoods. That I have explained to you. That's a cosmic mind. Cosmic mind, human mind is presented as a snake. And the thought waves of the mind are like the hoods of that snake. But human minds are ordinary snakes. They are little worm-like. Compared to cosmic mind, which is a boundless snake with countless thought waves. Subtle point to understand, the world that we experience is a miracle of thought waves. Just like the entire cinema show you experience is a miracle of projections. Remove the projections, there is nothing but the screen. We remove the thought waves, and the thought waves are arising from every individual. When you go to sleep, those thought waves undergo a big change. You move away from your ego. The whole world moves away from your consciousness for a short time. Not absolutely a correct statement. There is a veil of ignorance. So then, the world process, in brief, is an expression of Maya. Maya is cosmic illusion. The world we live in is Maya, illusion. The body you are in, you never see all details of it. You know very little about it. The way you are wired, You hardly know about all the details of your nervous system. In the midst of all this, a series of reality present themselves to you. It's just like realities present themselves to your cell phone. But all the cell phone presents to you is phony. All that you are experiencing day and night is phony. Just like in your dream. All you experience in your dream, while dreaming, they seem quite real. Once you realize it is a dream or wake up from your dream, then all that was just phony. So even while dreaming, if you were to develop that awareness, it is a dream. Then even in your dream, you continue eating your cream. Knowing that it is phony. The act of eating is also phony. Now the verse says that Goddess Saraswati, cosmic serpent Sheshnag, which is cosmic mind, Lord Shiva, Brahma, these names are given only to show that the source of this universe is God Himself. And God has different aspects. Saraswati is the presiding deity of knowledge, inspiration, expressions, linguistic expression especially. If you are composing poems or even trying to appear at an examination, you invoke Saraswati to guide your intellect. So that's the role of Saraswati. But basically, all gods and goddesses are one and the same. That one and the same can be named Rama, can be named after your Isht Devata. When you are initiated into mantra, one name is given to you for a mantra. But that name includes all other gods. So when your Ganesha is Ishta mantra, Ganesha stands before you as the God. And all other gods sit around Ganesha, adoring Ganesha. That's the Hindu culture. Similarly, when Vishnu is God, you highlight Vishnu, then all other gods offer adorations to Vishnu, because all of them are one and the same. But then why there are many? Because human minds are distinctly different from each other. Even in daily life, in practical world, if you are interested in having many poses of any particular person, father, mother, or any dear one, different people will like different poses of the same person. And that person is not offended. So God is worshipped in different poses. And God is pleased no matter what pose you have adopted. Deep down, that understanding has to develop also. Not the ordinary way of thinking, I'm worshipping Saraswati Devi and I've ignored Lakshmi Devi. So what will happen? That's people do that, and that's childish. Also, there is importance in directing the mind to different aspects. Different aspects are giving you different attributes of God. Lakshmi is the giver of wealth. The wealth implies, from a profound point of view, Devi Sampat, the divine virtues. Saraswati, giver of wisdom. Shiva, destroyer. Brahma creates. All these functions are related to the Absolute Self. Without going into details, Tulsidasi names Saraswati Devi, Shesh Naga, Shiva, Brahma, the creator. What he is saying, that all these great sources of knowledge, they have declared Neti Neti as the highest truth. Not only these, Shastra, Veda and Purana. Shastra are the scriptures in general. Vedas are the Vedic scriptures. Rig, Yaju, Sam, Atharva Vedas, 4 great Vedas. And Puranas are explanatory writings, writings that bring out the meaning of the Vedas. And Puranas have lots of stories in them. That's their style. Creating a storyline, Purana goes on giving you insight into great teachings. So these are the sources on the basis of which you gain profound knowledge of the highest truth. The highest truth is described as Brahman, the Absolute. And all these scriptures unanimously point to the fact that highest truth is Neti Neti. Neti Neti means negation of everything that is conceivable by your mind. And in a practical way, in the practice of Vedantic reflection, you follow a series of negation. I am not the body. I am not the prana, the vital forces. I am not the mind and senses. I am not the intellect and ego. I am not the unconscious. I am Neti Neti, not this, not this. But Neti Neti term and negation leaves your mind into a kind of desolate state. So a positive aspect is also introduced. I am Satchidananda. I am existence, consciousness and bliss absolute. But even that description is confined to your mental concept. And you have to always understand that reality is always far beyond the mental concept. A mental concept points to a little reflected sun. Reality is the real sun. Thousands of reflected suns put together, add them up, they can never compare the real sun. Ramayana points that out later in Uttarkand. However, all this should not confuse you. In practice, you allow your mind to follow any concept that God is Sat, the absolute existence. God is Ananda. I am essentially Ananda, the absolute bliss. These affirmations are not perfect. Nevertheless, they are finger pointing to what is really perfect. So they have their subtle and profound effect on your personality. Sab janat prabhu prabhuta soi, tadapi kahe binuk raha na koi. This glory of God, the glory of Rama, God is described as Rama. That glory is indescribable. But All great sages and saints, instead of just saying indescribable, they do describe. Not only they describe, they prescribe that their descriptions should become the basis of your sadhana. To figure that out, the importance of it. So in a practical world, you are dealing with your mind. In and through your mind, you have to build up a process of attaining enlightenment. And all these are methods. Taha Veda as karan rakha, bhajan prabhav bhati bahu bhasa. The Vedas have presented the reason why, and they have pointed out the great effect of bhajan. Bhajan term relates to practice of bhakti yoga. In so many ways, the scriptures have gone on giving highlighting the power of bhajan. Now, to understand in a profounder way, the message behind the verse is that one should live one's life intensely involved in bhajan of Rama. Bhajan of Rama is to follow path of bhakti. There are 9 modes of bhakti practice. Let me enumerate that to you. First is Shravana, listening, just like you are listening to the glory of Rama as I am explaining. Kirtan, having listened to the glory, and you go on listening. Listening doesn't stop. In another level, Kirtan, you sing the praises of Rama. Each statement has 2 implications. Literal, you are listening. Stop listening. When you go home, you start saying, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai. Becomes Kirtan. Then sit down and smaran. Reflect upon the form of Ram. Then Pada Sevan, offer flowers, etc. at the feet of Ram. Archan, saying different mantras, go on putting flowers or any special sacred material. And next stage, bowing down, bandhana. All that I described in a literal way. But the literal practice is important, but purpose behind it, that bhakti has to enter your whole life. It should become your bloodstream. So, during the whole day, keep your ears open to something positive that comes from the world. If your ears are very open, you must realize you don't need temples and ashrams. Listen to the tweets and the twitters, the birds. Even the breeze is bringing you a message. The rays of the sun are bringing you a message. The world is filled with the glory of God. If you have profound sensitivity, the world inspires you. Go for a walk with that type of mindset. Otherwise, you plug your ears and go on listening to some cheap music. It's all within your control. So what I'm saying that from a profounder point of view, live to listen to the glory of God. Singing the glory of God, singing means allowing the glory of God to saturate your inner life. And all that doesn't happen in one movement. That is your life's purpose. Next point, smaran. How to allow your mind to meditate on God and develop that subtle insight, how it will, what it would be to have communion with God. A baby separated from mother does a smaran. How it would be to meet the mother. That's called a smaran. How it would be to meet God. And that's advanced aspect of smaran. God is becoming a source of fascination to your mind. Pada Sevan, every work that you do, consider it, you are serving the feet of the Lord. You have reduced the sufferings of someone by your advice or by your any act of service. Instead of developing the idea, how great am I? Without me, that person wouldn't have existed. Instead, this is such a grand opportunity God has provided. He has pushed his foot towards. And washing his nails, even though they are a little pickery, hardy. I'm joking, but and every act that you do is a kind of an offering of different flowers, along with the mantras of God. And the next state is called Vandanam, bowing down, allowing the ego to be humbled. Trinadapi sunichena, be humbler than a blade of grass. Taro riva sahishnuna, be more enduring than big trees. Amanina manadena, those who do not have recognition and success in their life, give them recognition and encourage them. And thus should you do the kirtan of God. All that you are doing that sings the glory of God, your whole personality begins to sing. Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atmanivedanam. And then develop this attitude. I am a slave, God is the master. The attitude advances. I and God are friends. It further advances. The I becomes effaced. Atmanivedanam, God alone exists. I will not develop any more now on that. All this is called bhajan. Bhajan prabhav bhati bahubhasa. All these Vedas and great personalities have described the glory of bhajan, the manifold benefits of bhajan in countless ways. Eka aniha arupa nama aja satchidananda paradhama vyapaka vishwarupa bhagavana kahin dhari deya charit kritanana. That Parameshwar, the Supreme Self, God, is one, absolute one, implying there is no duality. Even the idea that he is one and not two, that idea is still limited in your mind. God is beyond the concepts of duality and non-duality. However, the best that can be given in language is a language of non-duality. That Parameshwar, Supreme Self, is one without a second. Ani, desireless. Any desire implies a sense of imperfection. If you view God as a creator who is entertaining himself by creating the world, if that is so, he is afflicted by desire. God is absolutely desireless. And yet he creates the world with perfect precision for easy understanding. Think of the sun. Sun is absolutely desireless. Sun even doesn't know where the earth planet is. And yet sustains all the nutrition of the earth planet, nourishes every little tree, every little seed, fills the earth with solar energy, and goes on doing that. This is just a simile to help the mind. In the same way, Brahman is like the sun. And that sun is the source of giving inspiration to your mind, to your senses, to your sentiments, down to every detail of your physical body, your nervous system, your blood circulation, your vitality. All these have their source, like this mantra, Trayambakam yajamahe sugandhim pushti vardhanam, that God is the enhancer of fragrance and nourishment. That God is enhancing the fragrance and nourishment of the entire universe. Not only just the earth planet, but countless vast universe. Every detail in the Mars, in Jupiter, in Milky Ways, every detail is handled by God, who is desireless. Because all this is Maya. See? All the projections directed towards the screen allows the screen to go into so many stories. But the screen is desireless, because screen is not benefiting by those projections. That type of understanding has to go deep in the heart. Godward movement is a movement of turning desires into desirelessness, movement towards contentment, tripti, a sense of profound fulfillment. Just like when you go to sleep, you leave behind all your desires, all your problems, and slip into deep sleep. In your deep sleep, you don't miss the project of desiring and fulfilling the desire, because you have a deeper experience. That deeper experience awaits you all the time. That's your deepest reality, giving you another way of simple understanding. Think of the innermost self, the reality within everyone, is like the sky. Think of things that develop in time and space, led by your karmas, your desires. They are like clouds. The sky gives room for the clouds. Clouds can be gentle, silvery, they can be noisy, hurricane and a stormy type. But the sky remains unaffected. At the same time, the sky is not in a state of contradiction. The sky doesn't say, "Oh, now, what a good fortune today. Silvery clouds have come around me." It doesn't say, "What a misfortune. All these dark and dreadful clouds have gathered to make a terrible noise." The sky remains untouched. That sky-like revelation, I am that sky. Everything else that becomes real through mind, intellect, senses, that's not real. Because mind, intellect, senses, etc. are all limited instruments. All the experiences through them are defective. So all this I said just to explain to you that God has no desires. Arup, God has no form. And yet when you start sadhana, First step is meditating on God with form and attributes. This is called Sagun Sakar. So when you meditate on Rama, Krishna, gaze at a picture of any deity, that's Sagun Sakar. But that form is adopted only as a symbol to help the mind towards that which has no form, no name. But just to conclude this theme, first stage, Sagun Sakar. Second stage, as you advance, Sagun, God has all attributes, but no form. This advanced state of relationship with God. If you go further up, Nirgun Nirakar, God has no form. And all the best attributes that you think of through your mind, they belong to your mind. God is negation of your mind. God is that state where your mind is blown away forever. And that's pointed out by Tulsidas ji. Ek ani arup anama. He has no form, he has no name. Aja, simple word, aja means unborn. Anything that comes in the realm of time and space has a birth. It goes through what's called bhava vikaras. Asti, it comes to exist, it is named, it grows, it undergoes changes, it ages, it dies. But Brahman is not subject to these modifications. He is absolutely unborn. That Brahman is the reality in every individual. So many pots of water. Each pot contains a sun, reflected sun. And all the reflected suns have their different story to tell. But the reality behind all those suns is the sun. And that sun is one without a second. It's allegorical teaching. Otherwise you will discuss, don't you know there are many more suns up there. Satchidananda. The absolute reality is Sat, existence, consciousness and bliss. Paradhama. This is the supreme abode. All the souls in this realm of ignorance continue to move from one situation to another, from one dream to another, and they have no place to lay their head upon. They have no place to really rest. No Vishram without Ram. Vishram means rest. No Aram without Ram. Aram is another term for rest. Everybody comes to a state, where can I find rest? Absolute rest. The Sanskrit name Aram. But that word itself points out to where rest is. No Aram without Ram. No rest without Ram. A similar statement was made by Jesus. The birds have nests and foxes have holes. But the Son of Man, the Son of God, has no place to lay his head upon. In other words, God realization is the goal. Until you become rooted in God, merged in God, there is no rest. The world process moves on. Either you become a child, you die and your spirit enters into another family. While you are living, everyday things change. Your body changes, your mind changes, your ego changes. You have no rest. But absolute rest begins to reveal itself as you follow the path of bhakti. That's just like even in the midst of clouds, you begin to see a little hole. Through that hole, you see the sun. In the midst of all limitations, a divine faith begins to blossom. That's my goal. Once that little hole has developed, bhakti has entered your personality. And your life flows on the basis of integral yoga. Your actions become karma yoga. Emotions become bhakti yoga. Meditations, that becomes dhyana yoga. That's the integration of willpower. And ultimately jnana yoga, wisdom. Your reasoning becomes intuitive. All these four are not different attainments. Four-aspected movement. And the secret behind it, let bhakti, love of God, enter your heart and change each stage, these four stages. Thereby you are enriching your, otherwise you are living a purposeless life. You may do amazing things, but all things that you do, you will repeat them again and again. There will be no satisfaction. That God who is permeating all, the entire universe has emanated from him. That God, assuming a divine incarnation, performs his leela, a divine sport. And that's the setting for Saguna Sakar worship, the first, most profound step to lead you to the process that leads you to liberation. Introducing you to Saguna Sakar. Rama is Saguna Sakar. And there is a whole story of Rama is going to be presented to your mind. And the story is so fascinating that your mind cannot forget it. But behind this story, there is a mystic psychology. While the story fascinates your mind, the deeper meaning of the story goes into your intellect, in your feeling, in your reasoning. So again, repeating that point, from Saguna Sakar, you are led to Saguna Nirakar. From Saguna Nirakar, you are led to Nirguna Nirakar. But the most important introduction that is given is Ramayana type of instruction, devotion to Rama, which will be the same as saying devotion to Krishna, devotion to Jesus, devotion to Buddha. But here our subject matter is presenting God in the form of Rama avatar, the avatar of Rama. God, assuming human bodies, performs countless types of leelas. That has been from the very beginning of creation. As long as there is humanity, from time to time, great personalities come, enlightened personalities. They are all called Bhagavan. Among them, some are extraordinary. They are called avatars. The avatar term can be directed to anyone according to Hindu tradition. Gurus are viewed as avatar of God, even greater than God. Guru Govinda dono kare kake lakung pao. Kabira says suddenly Guru and Govind, Guru and Bhagavan Krishna both came before me. Now I have a problem. Whom should I worship first? And he finds the answer. I first worship Guru, who showed me where Govinda is, who led me to Krishna. Figure that out. What does it imply? First, focus your mind on your sadhana, your puja, your daily life, turning to yoga. That's under the guidance of Guru. As you follow this, then God realization doesn't require any effort. You remove a veil and the sun shines behind the veil of cloud. You don't have the problem of if I removed and where if the sun is not there, what will I do? You follow the teachings of Guru. Veil is removed. Govinda is already standing there. God is already there. Simple statements have sometimes very profound implications. Otherwise, it just gives you a visual picture. Two persons have come in. And Kabira says, first you bow down to Guru and then go after God. I will not go into further in that. So keval bhagtan hit lagi, param kripala pranata anuragi, yahi jan param mata ati chohu, yahi karuna kari kinha na kohu. This Leela of God is for the benefit of bhaktas, devotees. God is supremely compassionate. All those who have surrendered to Him, God loves them. Anyone who utters the term, "O God, I have surrendered to you," God immediately grants him abhayam sarvabhuteshu, implying that the whole world may be angry with you. But since I have given you refuge, nothing can hurt you. No one can turn even a little hair within your body. That's the type of world we live in. If God is pleased, you can tumble from a great height and find yourself in the bed of roses without the thorns. And if Godward movement is not correct, then even in the bed of roses, a snake will come and bite you. Such is the nature of the world. The implication, every soul is loved by God. That's the highest reality. Just like every reflected sun is loved by the sun. Because God cannot abandon any soul. The soul may develop the illusion, I'm a great sinner, I've done lots of things against God, etc., etc. But no matter what you are a ray of God. And it is not the power of God God is considered omnipotent. But in one area, His omnipotence doesn't work. He cannot abandon anyone, any soul. The sun cannot abandon any reflected sun. God is param kripal pranata anuragi. As you practice self-effacement, bow down to God. God's love waxes, increases. God is like a magnet, and you are like a piece of iron. But between you and God, there are impediments. There are some layers of obstacle. As you do sadhana, those obstacles are being removed. As they are removed, the magnet goes on influencing the piece of iron. When they are completely removed, the piece of iron moves, blends with the magnet, and becomes magnetic. With this I will conclude. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Shri Ramaya.